Hello, hello? Hello, hello? Hello, hello? Hello, hello? Oh no, my audio. Oh no, my audio. Double sandwife for double the efficacy. Wonder what caused that. Okay, that's fixed. Good. Let's move that. All right. So, yeah, we're back up and running, and kind of didn't expect that to be so fast, but here we are. So, I figured I would just have kind of a chill stream night and do a little bit of Jesus, this is loud. Do a little bit of Kingdom 2 Crowns and probably play some Rebel Galaxy afterwards because it's been a minute and I've missed you folks. Let's see. Switch over to here. I want to say that each time I try to launch this, it just goes right into playing the game, so... Oh right, I was playing as a vampire. And let's turn off the no thought setup dude. Love that boat noise. Oh yeah, it was like the beginning of winter and I was about to switch to the next island. Oh, this might be tough. Okay. Oh, those are the engineers? Okay. They look like people that lost their tools. And this portal's dead. Okay. Well, let's move on. Right. There's no grass now. I can't just, like, eat some grass. There's only one of the mounts that can do that, and it's not in this version of the game. At least I think so. No matter. Not too bad. Always try to leave the island with a little bit extra coin. Hello? Oh yeah! I have the hermits now. A little bit extra coin though to start your next island. Let's see here, we got the dragon, the beetle, another one of the hermits. What did I miss on this island? It looks like the next quarry's over here. Okay. Let's take off this direction immediately, because why not? Hello, random adventurer. I don't know who you are. I kind of... Oh, hey! That's a portal. Go this way. Good. Okay. Hell yeah. Love that hermit. They're good hermit. Get a load of that hermit. What does this one take? 2? I only have 1. What else? Nothing else. It is winter and things are bad. Okay. Hang out here for a sec. Then we run past... Oh wait, I can just use this. Bring all the deer over here. Hell yeah. Archers everywhere. Okay. This one. Yeah. Very handy. Good job, folks. No, turn around. Turn around. Keep going the other way. We got problems. Is that it for the night? Not bad. Okay. Okay. So what I just did was pay gold to this berry bush, and you'll see that it's now shimmering. That means that it'll be available for picking when I get my town center built up enough to have farmers. The game changes a little bit in winter, and it used to be where if you made it all the way through to winter, things would stop growing, and it would just become a matter of how long will you last before the greed eventually brings down your kingdom. And now they've made it where if you're ingenuitive enough, if you kind of hunt around and plan ahead a little bit, you actually can keep your kingdom through the winter. It's hard. This will be an interesting challenge. Because, like, I came here with a decent group of knights, but not quite enough of anything to build a kingdom off of. And I'm going to have to rely on my archers to actually hunt. So the best I can do is fly past where I can actually go on foot and hope to get behind the shadow gates and grab some deer. Of course, I could also always get lucky with finding another treasure chest like that one, which will have some money. There's the dragon. Also a really good mount. I don't really want it right now. It's very expensive to get any new mount usually. Okay, we're gonna run back. This is gonna take a bit. But those deer are coming, and each one of them is worth 3 gold to my archers, so... I can't even tell if it's day or night. It's just, we're deep in the forest now, so it's not going to show me daylight. Oh, that's the quarry! Okay. Alright, so it's the end of the day cycle. Okay. Run past this. Run past the gate. Hope I don't get bit. Oh no, archers, don't walk back. The greed are here. Things are bad. Yeah, run back. Good, good. Okay, we gotta upgrade that city center, otherwise we're not getting out of this. What is... Oh, okay. Wait a sec. A boat? No, we're not a boat. Yeah, we're a little dragon. Okay, cannot upgrade the city center more than once per... Things are about to get tough. Good. Got some gold out of all that. And now... Now we have science. You go become a farmer. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Grab more deer from the forest. The only way I know. Ooh. Ugh. Alright, found another chest. I think we'll call it there. There's a little mushroom there. Uh-oh. I run. I scamper. My deer's so tired. So tired of deer. Hey, Ryan Gosling. How's your day been? Oh? That farmer! That farmer's actually doing things! Hell yeah! Alright, I better take these deer back. Hey archers, you ready? Wow, you're all terrible at this. Alright. Head back. That's a lot of gold. Good start. Oh, didn't mean to do that, but oh well. Okay, and there's the green. Yeah, turn around. Turn around. Turn around, you fool! Okay, getting to a point where I'm starting to be concerned about the walls not quite being strong enough. Yeah, work on that. Go back over this way. Let's have them expand the wall. Upgrade this. Okay. Let's see what else we can find out here. Any other nice shrubs? No? Okay. Head back this way. Oh, that's a chicken. Hmm. Okay. Gonna want to upgrade the city center again soon. Nice. Okay. So I think we're just gonna do this. Alright, you're already outfitted. Good. This might end up compromising our little city here, but we'll see. This is a little technique that the game doesn't quite tell you about making champions. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That got messy. Come on, you folks can finish this. You're so close. Oh. Okay, I can't. I have no more money to give to that soldier. I hope he can do it. Thank you. Nothing there. How about you folks? No? Alright. Nice. Hunters have been busy. Oh. Here comes the greed. I love the solemn piano music in this game. It's so good. Okay. Go put a coin into these bushes. Maybe? Huh, maybe not. The ability to bring the deer back to town is so messed up because, like, well, I mean, obviously it's messed up. You're bringing deer back to be killed, but additionally, this allows you to kind of ignore the fact that winter's happening because you can just keep bringing meat back to your people to feed them. Right? Was all my gold for today. Oh no, did I lose my squire? I did. Okay, well, things just get a little bit more challenging. That's unfortunate. I'm not going to be able to send anybody out to fight in that direction for a minute. Hmm. Hmm. I wish you could send one of my squires over from this side to the other, like... Why aren't you? Okay. So this gives me back the Ice Witch, which is cool. She's a fun character to play as. I do not know the names of the characters because I didn't play the game. Okay. Hmm. I mean, it's a lot of gold, but it's not enough. It's not what I actually... Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Can't believe I lost my squire already. That's terrible. Okay, and with each passing day I'm supposed to be able to do this? Let's see. Yep, okay. Cool. Good to know. Oh, chicken meat. Keep up the good work. I guess I should fly out this way past the gate. Bring back some more deer. And anything else I can throw my gemstones at. Oh no! I don't think I can use fire to fight the boar. Although that would be funny. Okay. Yep, let's just fly back. We'll run up to this gate, and then we'll fly back. Or, nope, we're just gonna fly now. Bye! Oh no, it took out all those peasants! Oh well. I completely forgot the boar even existed until just now. So close to destroying that gate. Just a little bit at a time. It makes a difference. Oh no. Here comes that boar. The worst. I mean, if we can take it out, it's worth 50 gold, but... Oh, okay. I'm in a bad spot right now. Honestly, I didn't expect this to last as long as it has. Hmm. How terrible. We just lost all those bows. Like, it's not the worst because we're going to be able to hire squires of our own soon, but that was a heavy loss. Let's see. Maybe it'll be something useful on the other side of this game. Like meat. Okay. And that is the end of the line for this location. I don't need that gemstone box because it's just going to get lost. I don't even think I'm going to make it through this this island. But we're going to give it a try. Hate those gates. Oh, thank you. Take a drink here. Appreciate the reminder. Aw, thank you. That's a lot of money. There we go. Okay. So after this night is over, we should be able to send. I love that Inman. I'm glad that I was able to make that in V-Roid. I need to do some more work with it. But I shall also. Nuggies for everyone! What's your favorite nuggie sauce? Oh, I can put gems away. Good. I don't intend on using any of these for a minute. Barbecue's good. I like making a homemade honey mustard, but it's been a minute since I've had everything all together to do so. It's gonna be nice. Okay. Wait, why did... Huh? See. No, nobody expects the nut. Wow, those can hold a lot more coins than I thought, and I should have outfitted the soldier better. You're so close. Just destroy it. And we can build our city a little further out. Doing good. Just got most of our stuff moved into the new place. Got internet installed. Starting to feel a bit more like a home over here. Oh, there's all sorts of space for me to build stuff out here. Okay. Rainbow Gang. I mean, who isn't? Ooh. Where's the raid coming from? Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, the transparency's a little funky on here. Uh-oh. Okay, so we've got the airborne ones coming in. This is not good. Oh no. Ah! Well, I think that's it for this island. It was a valiant effort, but that is a Greed King. Well, time to fly to the other side of the map and see what I can find. Actually, no, the less damage I let them do to the city, the better. Come here. See, I'm trying to get it to actually do the, there we go. This side. Punch me from here. Come on. There you go. Send them that way. Stop destroying things. Are you serious? Oh, did they actually destroy it? Good job. Dang. Yeah, get to repairing, I guess. We lost nearly every soldier for that. I mean, they didn't kill it. Nobody's got their equipment left. I'm amazed that they actually managed to take out those two Greed Kings. And then here comes Nightfall again. We don't have walls up. Uh, all of my defenses are basically on this one side right now. And my squires have like no defense. Probably not. I'm just a silly little space wolf on the internet. Yeah, I'm not into that. Wrong deity. I don't know. I figure if you just listen to me chattering long enough, it tends to put a lot of people to sleep. No, that's what I'm saying, is that it tends to put a lot of folks. There's that stupid boar again. I am not fighting that thing. Oh, I should have gone for the quarry, because that would have worked for every other island. Oh well. Wait, I just watched the greed go back through that gate. As a fellow wolf! Furry solidarity. Maybe so. But what it is, was a mess of rock and roll in it. Posture check. Okay, fine. You're right. I was squinching. Oh no. Note to self, don't try to inhale your water. It's not good for you. Yeah. Somehow I don't think we were designed to quite just inhale the water. As delicious as it looks. I wouldn't recommend that. Glad we got those improved walls. Dang. Archers are actually making use of it. Heck yeah. Do we have any coinage to plant in the bushes? Money bushes. No? Oh. Unfortunate. Well, since one can't do fire, slowly getting all these people back. It's just taking forever to do. Alright, we've made it to pikemen. We can finally start having them do fishing. They'll pick up their own money and feed the rest of the kingdom on their own. I don't have to rely entirely on the farmers now, which is going to be handy because it's only going to get harder from here. Let's see. Thankfully, our reach goes pretty far now. I could do another wall out here, but it wouldn't actually benefit me much. There's that stupid boar again. Alright, we'll fly back and give the deer a rest. Could probably set up a portal. I don't really have the money, because it takes 16 gold to set up a portal? Well, all of my farmers had to go back. Jeez. I'm glad we got those pikemen. They're stabbing right through the wall. It's intense. Okay, and they've got that handled. We're just gonna fly out here. Might be able to find more deer. I hope. Kinda need them now. Those bushes aren't cutting it. Oh, I hate that it just stuck me in the middle of these two. Okay, that's not being harvested yet. We are at the beginning of day. The water isn't flowing from the creek yet, so there's no point in upgrading the farms. I just watched a fisherman pull up a fish. That was cool. Alright, there's all of our farm money. Just gotta keep feeding it back in. Wait a sec. Fly way the hell out here. Because I don't have enough yet to try and... Oh no. Well, this is gonna suck. Yeah, I don't have enough to pay into that yet. I would need to have basically a full gold bag. There's one archer just hanging out here, killing chickens. Good luck, buddy. Keep up the good work. Mark these bushes. Please don't go building... Oh, you fool. We're gonna lose that craftsman. Might be able to make a mad dash for that upgraded stone. In fact, I think that's what I'm going to do. I didn't expect to be able to get this much money back. And I don't have to wait for my engineers to get out there. I just need to pay into it for it to start. Let's hope this is enough. I should actually go over here and try to mark this bush if it hasn't been. Nice. Alright. Oh, I had those two deer chasing me. Okay. Taking a casual march. Here we go. Slot machine noises. Damn. Okay, so it's not a full bag. It's like half a bag. Good to know. Alright. That's the quarry. Now we can make knights. We can smelt iron. We can make swords. And it looked like the snow's starting to melt. Okay, that's going to be a minute before that's an option. We got the fancy castle. Huh? Thank you. We're at half moon. Half the danger, double the flavor. Fly back over this way, grab some more deer. Maybe. I don't know why I bothered throwing the gold at that. Whatever. Oh. There's a way I can bypass having to deal with these portals as well. Since I have a little bit of income, I can have a potion brewer attract people to the village. But that's going to take some money. And I have to keep putting money into it for it to remain viable. Alright, knights are doing pretty well. Still don't have enough engineers to finish any of these jobs. Not the best sign. Alright, 5 more engineers. And then if I can find that craftsman, there he is. You, come with me. And we'll see a world of potionomic imagination. Build some stuff, make a shop, it's not bread. Because the original version of that NPC was to have a bread shop. Hey Busta! How's your day going, hun? Oh, interesting. My spearmen actually, like, wander around out here. Alright, got that triple archer tower. Checking emails and stuff. Good. I hope work went well, hon. Well, time to go this way. They always want to run right out here in the middle of the greed attacking. Like, yeah, this is a brilliant idea. Let's do that. Okay. Working at heights? Oh, geez. I feel like Guitar Flavor has to do that kind of stuff too. They have to operate machinery. Yeah. Are you having to like? Well, I guess don't reveal too much personal information, but yeah, I'll have to ask you later. I'm curious. Low heights. What about like big heights? Interesting. Something about the larger structure. Oh, here comes the first person coming to the potion cellar. Training all day, wearing a harness. Must be the life of a puppy. Yeah, I knew you were going to go there. Oh, right, this is a Blood Moon day. Things go very, very bad on Blood Moon days. Time to cower in fear. Let's see. I'm gonna need some more spears. And I don't know... Oh... Now that's strange that the bush didn't disappear. It's not how that's supposed to behave. Yeah, that's the sound of the portals getting angry. Everybody back up. Yeah, don't even try to be here. The blood moon rises. Hey Tig! I saw that you were streaming earlier, but didn't manage to check in time. Okay, the blood moon seems to be frozen, which makes me worried that they're all attacking the other side. Oh, it's not even... Okay, it must be attacking the other side then. A Hearthstone radio station. I mean, that doesn't sound too bad. Bunch of cuties in chat. Honk. Do my own posture checks here. And we have a new moon. Okay. Apparently, they only attack the other side, and we are good to go. Nope. Not dealing with that. Oh, jeez. Oh, hey, there's the... Come on. Please stop walking towards... Thank you. Grab 2 more spearmen, because we need them for the defense. They are so good in combat. Okay. Oh, we can start making catapults! That's gonna be so good. That'll help even more. The armory should be somewhere around here. That berry bush absolutely should not be there anymore, but, not gonna argue. You know what? Let's do another. Those are pretty nice to have. I expected the winter to be a lot tougher than it has been, but I guess I've also been playing this game for a while now. Oh, hey, one of my favorite DJs just started up. Now going into what you were like saying earlier, Busta, I have like extreme vertigo. If you put me on the edge of a cliff, it just feels like my body wants to tip over. It's such a weird sensation. Like you suddenly become aware of the world moving under you, and that only happens when I'm at like extreme heights versus being on low height, like the roof of a building or something. I don't know. I think parkour broke that part of my brain because I got used to just jumping off of 10-foot to 15-foot surfaces. Oh, the water's flowing. Our farmers can actually start growing stuff. Let's get catapults built first. Those are important. And we're going to need hunters as well. The trees, they have greenery again. It's so pretty. Get a couple more spearmen. Nice. Waiting for the opportunity to put another farmland down right here. This game's like an interesting timed version of a classical RTS, but the normal like up, down, left, right is replaced with just side to side in this case. Used to be able to go into pipework that was just bigger than me and do welding, but within 6 months... Oh. Did you just have like a bad experience? Hey Blossom, good to see you. It's so chill. It's also multiplayer. At some point I want to get some people together to actually try doing this one, at least 2-player. I don't know if it goes any bigger than that. There was somebody that I was playing with consistently for a little while, and we were working our way up towards getting ready to do the new challenge islands that had just come out. Start panicking. Oh, that's like the deep delve stuff that I don't like doing with caving. Like, I love mineralogy and geology and stuff, but being underground and aware of the Earth's weight above me scares the hell out of me. So getting stuck in something and sliding out backwards, like I totally understand that immediate panic. That's so real. Oh, these farmers are making good money now. Heck yeah. Man in Cave? Is that a movie? Oh. There was actually, who was it? Disrupt did a video about a woman that lived underground for, I think, like 90 days in Carlsbad Caverns in like a little simulated environment of the supposed bare necessities of what's necessary to keep a person healthy and sane. And they wanted to see like what kind of effect that would have on somebody's psyche over time if you didn't have any measure of the standard 24-hour cycle happening around you. Nobody reminded you of what time it was. If you never saw the sun and you were underground all the time, like how would that affect your perception? And interestingly enough, the study on it, or the video on that talked about the study, I want to say a couple weeks before the person producing those videos later did an experiment of living in VR for 1 week and having no perception of the outside world, having all the windows blacked out, and existing purely through your headset. When one starts to die, you swap into a different headset. And trying to exist purely in the digital sense. And that video was very much not supposed to be an instructional video on how to exist, but was actually like extremely inspirational to me in the sense that one could theoretically exist in a relatively healthy social environment by just being digital, just being virtual. And that's kind of what put me down the path of becoming the green Glowdog. I should get more farmers. Give this guy a coin. That guy's getting a fish. Thank you. Oh, thank you for the extra coin. Oh. That's a person going after one of the potions that I made. Allows me to completely ignore having to go to the camps to grab them. They'll just show up on their own. Oh, wow. That is a lot of money. I did not expect this run to quite go so smoothly. I seriously thought I was going to lose my kingdom really early on in this this little playthrough here. And I seem to have self-stabilized somewhat. I guess that guy's gonna grab that coin. Could do with more archers. And let's see about where is the armorer going to even show up? Also might very well be time for these folks to have their own house. So let's give them one. Oh, that's right. I don't have a catapult on the other side at all, which means I need to expand further out before it'll let me. Good to know. We got 4 pikemen up here still. Holy cow. Oh. That catapult is so powerful. Just smashes right through them. Okay. And yeah, let's do a second little farmhouse on the other side of this. That'll be handy. Hello, engineers. Keep up the good work. Nah, I don't need to put more fire barrels there yet. Our first farmhouse! Nice. Okay, so we're no longer picking up, aha, people quite as quickly. Yeah, okay, so this is the outer wall here. I need to encapsulate further, which I think in this case is going to involve... Well, are you kidding me? We're gonna chase this person through the city. That was a very silly situation. Yeah, what I'm thinking is I might actually have to send my soldiers out further here to get the next little bit of forest. Because it does not open up on the other side here, no, it does not. These don't open up. Okay, yep. What I don't want is to have to destroy the little encampment here, because then my potion trick doesn't work anymore. And these folks start to cost a lot more money to hire, instead of the 1 gold. So I want to leave their little village alone. And instead, we have to wait until morning, or close to, basically right after the initial attack on the one side. We will then send the soldiers out. Right, now it is nightfall. Yeah? I love watching the days go by and the weather change and the seasons shift in this. It's really nice. The day cycle is even like, if you're familiar with RimWorld, the seasons are very, very similar to that. It's 15 days per each season. And it affects how your farmers work. It affects whether or not your mount can actually eat. I love pixel art. Okay. That is way more money than I have a use for. Go back over here, tell them to make another couple of these. Uh-oh. Why did that move? Oh, I see why. The wall moved, so that no longer has a valid location. Okay, that's the end of that cycle, though, so I need to get over here and send my soldiers before it's too late. So I've never... Like, I played a lot of Kingdom Hearts 1 all the way through to the battle with the Demon of Bald Mountain, but I do not know how the game actually ends, unfortunately. And my understanding is, if I did know, it wouldn't matter, because there's another 15 games for me to go through. And so I'm just going to kind of vicariously enjoy that game through Josh. Yeah, there's a lot there. There's a lot of lore, there's a lot of like side games. There's a lot of content to enjoy. But I don't like card games as much per se. 1, 2, are you going to say Chain of Memories? 358 divided by 2. See, why are we doing algebra? Main game collection on PC, huh? Alright, so this time we have 2 squires up front, both of which are fully equipped, and they can just grab coins as needed. Oh, I just realized this is going to be a hell of a fight afterward because it's going to piss off the greed and they're going to send even more out here. And there's another one of these portals like right on the other side of this one. Oh well, here we go. I should play. I don't know. There's so many RPGs out there that I want to play. Like, legitimately, I'm a longtime fan of Kingdom Hearts. Or not Kingdom Hearts. We're talking about that. Final Fantasy. The entire series, not just like any one given property. And I've been really wanting to try out VR FF14. 2.8 game bundle. They're the Story So Far collection, which had the 1.5, 2.5 HD bundles mixed in with the 2.8 bundle as one. That's a lot of games. Oh, you played all the main series of Final Fantasy? That's also a lot of games. I guess let's go check the other side, because I get the feeling... Oh, it says saving, which means that that fight ended. Good. Didn't expect them to successfully make it through that, but it appears we did. We still have Nightfall to deal with, but the retaliation is over, at least. Okay, we even have a portal coming up. That's gonna be nice. But I'll have to get to that in a sec. Got more spears. We got napalm right up against this fence. Nice! Hello, Greed. Alright, while this is going on, run over here, grab some gold from our farmers, open the portal. 4 or 5 games you actually should play, and then some cutscenes to watch for the series of the games they didn't bother to port. So... I don't know. I guess... Do you see in any way means by which... Oh, why? Wait, the catapults are here now? Huh. Do you see any way that a person would be able to get at least the majority of the story by simply watching videos? And it's not to say that like one would have a better experience by all means. Like the game was meant to be played, but There is so much there, so much more. It's like trying to get into the Marvel Cinematic Universe after not being involved. Let's see. I was gonna upgrade this wall during the day. I'm amazed I'm like getting these on the exact number necessary. That's funny. None of you have managed to successfully hunt a single deer. The one hanging out here. Okay, so there's actually no grass right here. It's a lot. Like one of the series that I want to get into, if I was to like just sit down and play through an entire series from beginning to end, I would probably actually want to tackle the Star Ocean series. Star Ocean 2 was such a good game that I was actually willing to trade for it when I had a copy of Final Fantasy Tactics back in... Oh shoot, that was in junior high. I don't even remember what year that was. It was so long ago. Yeah, like it's almost like reading a book series. It feels like it happened in an instant, but then like you look back and you've been reading for weeks, sometimes months, depending on what it is that you're reading through. Let's see. These folks have any money? Oh, they have a lot of money. Cool. Too much money. Oh no. Go back over here. Go back all the way to probably like somewhere near this boat. I see. Alright. Head back this way. Upset even more things. You know, I may as well let this person out of their cage finally. Who are you and what do you do? Oh, right, my archer has to come over and do it. There's my engineers. There's that archer. That's funny. That's so much gold. Why? There's so much. I'm gonna have to help those soldiers out in a minute too, because like this is not an easy part of the game to do that on. Go back over here, grab more archers. Well, grab more archers. Okay, It's easily enough for me to help out the soldiers going that direction. What is... Huh. I don't know who that monarch is or what they do. Let's go see. I'm kind of curious about this monarch. I don't necessarily need the vampire bat at all times, and I don't remember what this person does. Wait, what does that do? Okay. So I'm holding my sword up. I don't know what that means. Oh, they're all glowy now. I wonder what that means. Bunch of cuties in the chat here. Oh, there's another one of those portals. Not messing with that right now. What is that? What is that? Who, me? That's cute. So wait a sec. If I go over here, my engineers do something dumb. Okay, that did nothing for them. Good to know. Got that tier 2 wooden wall, so very useful. Definitely going to protect your people against monsters. Why, monster, you don't belong in this world. Perhaps the same could be said of all religions. Flesh. Don't mind me as I go a little off the rail. Hey, we got the blacksmith! And I don't have remotely enough money to pay the guy, but let's get that started. We can finally start taking the fight to the greed. Oh, not quite enough. Okay. Well. Hey guys. Come get your upgrades. I guarantee they're good. Oh, a red day. Perfect day to have that stuff ready. Okay. Apparently my farmers are dying. I don't know when or how, but they are. Oh, got a bunch of deer. I have to remember to bring some gemstones over here now that I know that I can survive. It's so funny to me that the quarry doesn't take anything. Like, as long as it's there, as long as your kingdom has access to it. Come on, one more. I took the time to come out here. Very important royal hunt duties. Okay. I do need to kind of rush over to the other side here. Oh, yeah, that armor looks cool. Okay. I know. Okay. That puts a spare out there in case we need it. Grab more farmers. It's getting spooky. So danger. I'm like watching this outer wall as closely as I can. That fence goes down, that means my soldiers lost the fight. Oh, they are backing up? Oh no, they're not, because they're just gonna go get their upgrades, right? Oh, that does look like the fence just went down. Oh, that's a lot of money. Is that really how this fight went? And on the next day, they rested. Do I only have one engineer right now? Is that what's going on? Certainly a reduced number overall. Kind of curious. Just what did I lose? Okay, we go back over here, we grab more money. And that's just kind of how this game goes. We are at the point now where I can start potentially taking on the island itself for the Heart of Darkness, which is really cool. It makes it so the island is officially considered safe. No more greed will spawn on it once you do so. Time to start a whole stack of fire barrels. Excessive? I don't know the word. Alright. I forgot that deer cannot eat on farmland. Love the restful nights. Don't have to deal with any greed. Well, don't want to start that yet. That's the thing I need if I want to start the fight. Hello, random civilian. Welcome to the army. Next day, let's go upgrade that outer wall. Yeah, that's the portal right there. You know what? Let's go take care of that. We got knights now. Not just squires. Interesting. That knight still need a lot of money. Alright. Successfully defeated that one. In fact, that is the last one before this wall here. Very nice. Don't have to worry too much about retaliation. Yep, everybody back up. This little blood moon is going to suck. Now, initially, I had intended on jumping into some Rebel Galaxy a little bit earlier than this, but we're coming up close on actually finishing an island. So I think I might do so. Just for a change of pace here. Alright. Let's take all this money and throw it into these, because I'm going to get way more the second I walk out past this wall. Yeah, thought so. Okay, so let's grab this bear. Oh wait, you're not a bear? You're a big old beetle. Well, you remember what you do. Just a weird little bug. Okay, let's send an assault party out this direction. Bad time of day to do it, but hey. Okay, both soldiers are outfitted, as are their people. Hmm. Oh. Dang, you two are just like out here for blood. They just completely ignored the assault coming up and chopped right through it. Alright, so the beetle is a silly little extra. Oh, I don't have enough. I would have to come back with another gem. Okay. Well, at the very least, we can be like, so gross. But at least it works. Wait, did that turn off the portal? Okay, I was gonna say. Alright. Got that portal done. This is such a weird bug. Like, quite literally. It's a weird bug. And it squeaks. It makes sad squeaky noises. Aww. What does it eat? Do I like... What do I feed a giant beetle? Wouldn't it just eat rotting wood? What is that? White sad monkey. Delicious wood. Mmm, log. Okay. This is a very fast mount. I do think I prefer the deer. At least for now. Oh, that actually feels tangibly slower. That's funny. Still more money than I know what to do with just yet. Oh, I know exactly what to do with it. Never mind. Oh, you're drinking the potion of becoming one of my people. Good for you. We have made a giant demon-killing wagon full of some undefined poison and or explosive. Not sure. But this is how we're going to save our kingdom. Hello, random deer. Upgrade that. Hello, other engineers. Hello, soldiers. Okay. Are we there yet? Hell of a march. Okay. Still cutting those trees back just a little bit at a time. Where are those other engineers at? So I gotta wait for the engineers to wheel the new wagon over here. That's gonna take a sec. After that, I think I need more gold for... Oh hey, we got greed on our back. Well, that did not go well. Okay, there's the bomb. I lost the catapult. That's terrible. Well, not enough. Okay, run back over this way. Got all the farmers. Already back up to full. Cool. Teleport over to this side. Also, I love that quick travel system when it works.
Sometimes it can be a real pain to get it set up. Okay. We've got catapult set up. And we're getting towards the end of day here. Will they get it built? Success! We continue forward. Light the fuse on this. And we go into the portal. Welcome to the Heart of Darkness. We're going for it. Go forth, my knights. Equip many coins. Gotta use that phalanx. Oh. Uh-oh. That's a first. I've never had the greed just pop up in the middle of the party before. That's funny. Alright, alright, alright! We're getting so close! I think this is the last one. Okay. Yep, here it is. The thing's watching me. It tracks me through the room. Okay, here we are. A little bit further. Let's go. Let's go. Run! The monarch has secured the kingdom. We got it! Oh! 1 rain. 5 sessions played. Heck yeah. Archers higher. Oh, these are the interesting stats to me. Under 50 archers. Okay, the 2 knights hired doesn't make any sense. Because I obviously hired 4. So yeah, this island can now be used as kind of like a safe haven to further build up resources, build up the kingdom a little bit. And, whoa. From there, I'll be able to kind of like launch off to go work on the other islands. But this is one of the most difficult ones in this campaign. I want to say this is Island 4 or Island 5, and there's only 5 or 6 per session. And we just kind of carved our way through that. We started, obviously, during a reign that we'd already been playing for a bit, but no death. Like, we didn't lose our monarch. I honestly expected to lose about the first hour of gameplay. So that was pretty cool. Kind of do a victory lap around the kingdom here. Repair stuff as we go. Eat some grass. Let's see. I still need to build up the boat. Which I'm going to need more money for that. And I'm going to have to secure the other side of the island, because all we managed to do is the hardest part first, and then the easier part second, which is kind of funny to me. Okay, let's run over here and invest in our boat. Put a bunch of lumber on the ground so our engineers can come back and work on this. Okay. Put those away. Whew. No. We got everything from... Oh. Never mind. Perfect. Run back over here, put the rest of this into that boat. So much lumber to build this thing. Okay, still need more. Jeez. Such chill music. It's so good. Let's see. Oh, no way. They actually gave me more than I could carry by a lot. Beyond that, yeah, it just goes into there. I guess let's destroy this bridge. Or destroy the forest on the outlying side of the bridge. I don't think... Let's take a look here. Alright. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and take a short break here. Smash that bridge up. We'll wait for our engineers to finish this up. We'll take a short break. I want to take a walk around the house and stretch my legs a bit. And we'll see about either clearing the other side of this island on the left side, or doing some Rebel Galaxy. I did a bit of offline progression work just so that you folks, oh jeez, didn't have to sit and watch through me doing all of the monetary buildup and grinding. And then I happened to get really lucky on my last like offline session and just doing so much back and forth trade that I kind of skipped a few ships and moved right up into the warship category instead of just the frigates that I was using before. So we'll have to see how that plays. I didn't expect to kind of like get back in the groove so readily with that game. Oh, I was supposed to come back here with gemstones, and I keep forgetting. Are any of these destructible? Not unless I took out like the entire forest, huh? And then the next portal's like right here, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Okay. Well, might have to send my knights out for another ill-advised run. Fly out here. Such a long walk. You know, screw it. Let's take out that one too. Thank you. Hello, engineers. Welcome back. Something to do with my money. Stick as many archers as we can into one tower. Alright. Looks like we got the other side of this bridge down. Maybe there'll be something that I can build a tower off of over here. A little bit closer. Doesn't look like it, though. Can't even see the moon. Yeah, alright. I'm finding myself getting way too easily distracted with this. So, let's turn on... Oh, then the music comes in? That's funny. Well, we're going to do the No Thoughts Head MD music anyways. And... do a switch over to here. And I'll be back shortly. See you folks in a little bit. I gotta ask you, chat. Why is string cheese so good? Why is it so satisfying to peel strips of cheese? Why do I like it? It is. I guess, like, that internal desire to just hair strips of drywall, something, and chew on it. Switch back over here. Let's finish this out. There's not too... Whoa! There's not too much left in here. Okay. This is kind of funny, because I actually expected the greed to hit by now. But I guess not. I've made a critical error in my calculations, and now have string cheese stuck in one of my cavities. Oh no. I didn't even see that guy there. I just threw a coin down and he appeared. That was really funny. Let's see. Portal is still open. Hey Knights, where are you folks at? You're supposed to be helping me with this. Alright. Let's go! Wow, the greed really isn't fighting back anymore. I guess destroying the heart kind of messed them up. Okay, so there's none coming through. I've never done this before where I've gone and destroyed the cliff base before going for the dock side. Kind of thought I would be facing even more animosity along the way, but here we are. There's the last one. Let's see if I can outrun the knights. And just tell them to turn back around and finish that fight. Just have to wait for them to turn around. Wait, there's a second engineer going to help the catapult. Oh, that tower looks cool. There's our little beetle. Well, not so little beetle. I didn't want any of this. No! I didn't mean to do that. You can say it's a red day, but, where's the greed? Let me guess, I didn't give myself enough here. Yeah. Okay. Well, I can at least pay for another hammer. It's a lot of coins. You heard me? You heard that I cooked my toast upside down? How does one cook toast upside down? Like, with a toaster? Putting the brown part of a sandwich loaf down? Is that what that means? I'm confused by this information. Alright, here go these soldiers again. Da 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 da. That's so many coins. This is a red day. This is a red day, so supposedly it's the worst that it could be with the greed. Supposedly. I have the feeling that right now, normally I would be getting destroyed, but... I tell whoever's cooking that they're cooking the sausages upside down to annoy them. I mean, How does one cook a burger upside down? The same way one cooks chicken upside down. Oh, it went from a red day to being an ordinary night. There are no greed. Oh, that's so weird. Speedrun hacks. Ignore the dock. Just attack the cliffside. Now, note that I never would normally play this way per se. Like, usually, oh geez, they're like slapping now. Usually, like, I just kind of grow out organically, and I don't happen to run across the cliffside quite so early. Especially not without expanding out the other direction, really. So this was probably one of the quickest I've ever actually gone through one of these islands. Oh no. This takes so long. I don't remember it taking this long. It's actually kind of funny. Runs No Thoughts Head Empty music while doing this, because what else are we gonna do? Like, is this thing dead yet? Did I break the game? Oh, okay, there it is. Time to light the lighthouse. And now any boats that park here will be, or that land here will be safe. Because they won't crash into the side of the island, which is how the game normally behaves. If you don't have the lighthouse lit yet, every time that you land on an island, your boat explodes, and you have to rebuild it. But if you land at an island that you've already done the lighthouse, you can just kind of show up on that side of the island and march your way across and grab all the resources that you normally have out here. Here's all my knights. All my archers. Okay. Get to my farmers. I will build out the boat. And it'll be a good way to close out this little session here. Or at least of Kingdom 2 Crowns. I think at the very least I'll end up launching up Rebel Galaxy just to switch out the ships, because I'm using something a little too powerful. Oh hey, it's that beetle. I'm gonna ride the beetle. Come here, beetle buddy. Meow. Where was the boat? I can't remember. Okay, it's right there. Cool. Content! This is gameplay. We feed coins into slot machine for funny noise. Oh, I have city farmers now. That's weird. Also, my entire military is like way off to the one side. So does this guy eat grass? Oh, it does! Or it eats something from the grass. That's really neat. I had no idea. Fly off this way. What a cute little bat. Oh, I didn't even see these farmers. Nice. Okay, that's the last of the boat parts. Just sit here and watch these folks put it all together now. At some point, I might actually finish out the rest of this campaign for Kingdom 2 Crowns, but this is essentially the end of the Bloodborne campaign as far as it's concerned, and honestly, with any of the others. They all have little twists and differences to them, whether you're playing the Vikings campaign, or the Shogun, or Bloodborne, or Kingdom 2 Crowns Classic. They each have slight variations in the characters, some of them will have special abilities or skills, but the gameplay is still essentially the same. Build up your little kingdom, try and get out to the 4th or 5th island, whichever one has the highest level walls, and then take the fight back to the Greed themselves. And I think that we've successfully done that today. That's a good little run. Also, our archers are all coming by to get on the boat now, which I love. It's fun seeing them pop up. There should be a pair of knights coming in as well. Now, by waiting like this at the end of any given island, you can also have additional knights in your roster when you get to the next island. Oh boy! Oh, if I had the tricorn from Risk of Rain 2, that'd be a delight. Yeah, you can end up with, instead of 2 knights, you can have 4. I think you'd actually go up to 6 in some cases. So many coins. I'm still waiting for that knight to show up. So I'm just kind of throwing money into everything now. Well, here's the knights. This is fun. We'll follow them up in a sec. I'm just gonna grab money from the archers that are gonna help me with those potions. Okay. There's so many coins. You can already see a bunch of the other soldiers have all jumped into the crow's nests here. Okay. And that does it. Okay, this last bit to get everybody on the boat. For a second I thought that coin rotating was an animation of a cape or something. Alright. It took 31 days? Well, 35 days, because I didn't start at the height of winter. It wasn't quite there yet. But I'd say that was a fun little playthrough. Let's see here. Ah, there is another island. I'm not going to actually play this through, though. We'll do this another time. Okay. Turn down this silliness for a sec, because I switched something over. Ah, yes, we were having that funkiness last time with the full screen versus windowed. Let's see if it'll work with me this time. Well, looks like we're loading. That's a good sign. Okay, I'll pause that for now. Hey! It's Country Butt Rock. We're here now. Oh, that is the tiniest resolution. I might... bad is that? How bad is the text on that? That's not even a resolution that it renders at. Oh no. Let's try that again. Hold on. Okay, so 1280 by 600 was not the correct size. We'll do 1366 by 768. No, that's still the same one. And there's some resolution weirdness with this. Will the 1680 by 1050 actually work now? It does! This was not working 2 days ago, so that's a good sign to see. It looked okay? That's good. One of the things I notice is that if I do leave it when it does the weird extended window stuff, the text becomes unreadable when I get into the actual game. Although it seems to have frozen on me for the moment. Oh, there we go. That's a cool looking ship. Okay, so... Yep, okay. Yeah, you'll note the difference in credit value there on the net worth. This ship got a little out of control during my last little play session. The Barracuda is an impressive vehicle. Covered in turrets. In fact, let me see. Tactical. We've got 4 turrets. 5 turrets. It's zoomed in now. Let me take a look here. Also, thank you. Oh, wow, that is acting very strange. Let me see. Why is it doing that? Okay. How's that? Particle laser, mining laser, Orion Viridian laser, and another ion turret. Oh, that's how I look at all those. There's just so many turrets on this thing. Okay. And on a recent playthrough solo, so I wasn't completely destroying this, I found that you can get other components from the other factions that you can't normally if you fight them enough. So I've been out there fighting the faction that built this ship in a different playthrough. I don't actually have this ship yet, but I got the engines for it. So let's see, what was I working on last time? The Researcher. Oh, right! Okay, so last time we left off, we were hunting for a long-lost Aunt Juno, who, I guess not so recently lost, appears to have been kidnapped? We're not entirely sure. And we're trying to find where she's at. So, been asking around and keep getting sent on weird little side missions. Rather than going directly for the main storyline things, we got a little bit of time. I want to go after this set of battles here, which it cracks me up that these are all considered risk low. That's because of this ship. It's not because of the targets of the enemies that are out there. This ship is just...
We go now, yes.
Yes, Giza, we go now.
Engines at maximum.
This ship is just a little too hyper-tuned. Alright.
Bounty detected.
So many bounties.
They will taste the black.
Like, I don't even get it. Whoa, hello. That is a whole iceberg in space. But the ship is so fast that I don't really have as much time to focus with broadsides unless I'm creeping up on somebody side by side for this style of combat.
Bounty
The rest of the
received.
time, those back turrets like take care of most of my enemy targets. And what I'm able to do is kind of just run circles around other capital ships now. I saw in the description that this is the fastest ship in the sector. And I was like, well, now you have my attention. Because I've been tired of getting run down, like literally run down by other ships that are either bigger and somehow still just as maneuverable, but way more armored,
Collision warning.
or something that's too fast for me to actually keep up with.
This one is mine.
This ship... Oh, I forgot I have missile launchers on the sides now, too! Fire missiles. That's so cool.
Bounty received.
But, like,
Complete.
this same fight would not have gone nearly as quickly or easily if,
Warning.
This is a Confederate militia vessel. I hope you're not calling to ask for directions. I think we'll be fine without your help. You can be on your way.
it's just an entire, like, turret array.
Accelerating to sublight. Sublight boosters depleted.
Already?
Exiting sublight.
I very much got used to the engines I got on the other ship.
They will taste the black.
Ooh, really good disruptors, though.
Accelerating to sublight.
Was that it? Okay. Next up, Red Devil Interloper.
Exiting sublight.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
Level yellow.
Are you sure?
Collision warning.
I think you're mine. Yeah, this thing is so fast now. Also, I want to point out just the sheer number of missiles I just flew through, and it didn't care.
Why, you filthy convict!
Missiles inbound.
You can't...
We will cut them down.
Missiles inbound. Mission complete.
Hell of a fight. What did we find here? Bio waste.
Exiting sublight.
Anything else? What do we got around us? Red Devil Hunt.
Accelerating to sublight.
Ooh, what's that?
Targeted by hostile craft.
Is this that station that I'm not supposed to go to? I think it is. We'll find out in a
Collision
sec.
warning.
Narco Cola. Alright. I'll take some Nuka Cola.
Collision warning.
Oh yeah, this is a station I'm not supposed to be at. They don't like me here. I love this. This is... It kind of makes some of these fights a little invalid, but at the same time, I also had gotten tired of every single fight being a by the skin of my teeth kind of situation. Woo! That is a lot of ordnance being thrown at me. Glad those shields regenerate as well as they do.
Missiles inbound. Port shields down.
Oh, port shields down. Turn around, turn around, turn around. Other side. That command ship has much better lasers than I do at the moment.
Missiles inbound. Deflectors depleted. Forward shields down. Ordnance depleted.
Well, snap.
Collision warning. Starboard shields down.
Mark II particle laser. Hell yeah.
Ordnance depleted.
That is a very valuable thing to pull out of a box. Don't like the other things that came out of that
Mission
box.
complete.
And I really wish, in fact, I might actually go look and see if there's a Steam
Collision
Workshop,
warning.
a mod that removes the option of certain contraband from this game. Don't like that. It's pretty upsetting. Which reminds me. Sorry, folks. I hope you find a ride. Is that it?
Accelerating to sublight. Exiting sublight. Warp inhibited by
Whoop.
stellar mass.
The Hera 9 ice field.
Missiles inbound.
With so many small targets, I'm glad that my lasers know where to shoot because I don't.
Cut them down.
It's one of the things that I do like in this game is the turret combat kind of aims itself.
Exiting.
I just have to generally be in the area and pay attention to how far away I am from any given enemies. And the rest of it I can focus mainly on just keeping myself from getting blown up. The broadside combat's a little different because like it locks you to a almost side by side. Oh no, get off that. Where yeah, you can't see in front of you like I just showed you.
Mission complete. Bounty detected. Collision warning.
Bounty detected.
Stellar map. Accelerate.
Guess we'll go this way.
sublight. Warp inhibited by hostile craft. Exiting sublight. Ordnance depleted. Missiles inbound. Collision warning. Port shields down. Collision warning. Missiles
I
inbound.
wish there was a way for me to zoom out a little bit further for all this. Oh no. Oh. Literally flying circles around this pirate scow.
Sublight research completed.
Engaging.
Bounty received.
Thank you for the help, Skiza. Bio waste. Fly out here. There we go.
Stellar map.
That went so fast. Let's see. Militia embargo, a mining rush. I've got some money right now. A mining rush could be useful. See what kind of stuff we can get from that.
Sublight.
Got that hyper warp. Almost 3 times as fast as the previous version.
Warp inhibited by stellar mass. Collision warning.
Detected valuables.
Accelerating to sublight.
Coordinates crate. I actually need that. Did I just...
Exiting sublight.
I completely flew past that faster than my tractor beam could actually grab onto it. That's nuts. That just isn't something that happened with the previous ships.
Accelerating to sublight.
Another ordnance crate. I keep leaving these out here from fights. That's funny. Okay. Ha ha ha. Very funny. Oh.
Warp inhibited by hostile craft.
Thank you, Skiza.
Collision
Bye.
You got knockbacks. Here's something for your trouble.
That was wild.
Failing.
What can I do? Yeah, we can do business. What'd you have in mind?
Let's sell some
Yeah, we can do-
munitions.
Yeah, I heard about something. Yeah. we
Soy
can do
paste.
business.
No thank you. I honestly don't want the bio waste either, but hey,
Collision warning.
it's better than nothing.
Accelerating to sublight.
It'll pay for repairs. Actually, I don't think it can really even pay for repairs comparatively. This is a big ship. I can't sell miso to fix this ship.
Warp inhibited by stellar mass. Stalking.
Okay. Refill our ordnance. Repair the ship.
Repair
950 worth. So yeah, last we played, we had gone up from the Hammerhead to the Mastodon, and then from the Mastodon to the Tenhausen, which is a bigger ship with more ports, better broadside capability, decent ship. It's also getting into some of the larger hull size. The Scarab is kind of like a big floating bug version of it. This is what a lot of the pirate scouts we've been fighting against have been. And the Barracuda is one step above. But it is, as it says here, the fastest, most maneuverable ship in the quadrant. This thing is crazy, and I think that I'm going to continue using this until I find another fast-flying ship later in the game, but I don't actually know what else is available out there. This is the fastest thing I've ever seen. Let's see here. Got nuts and bolts. Metallic ore is nearly worthless right now. Intellectual property is at an all-time high. Narco cola is illegal, but bio-waste, no problem. Ugh. Meteoric diamonds are supposedly at a system all-time low, but not really. Alien artifacts, on the other hand, yes. The gold isn't really worth it at its current value. Okay. $41,000 credits for this mission. A pitched battle is in progress. Deadly religious tracts. I love these missions that are like designed to be even more difficult, and they just pay out more and more. Okay, let's take a look at the equipment bay. We picked up some extra components here while we were flying around. And... oh, these are all Mark IIs. And I've got that ion turret in the front because it's for destroying shield generators. No, we want that Viridian laser. It's better. It's just outright better. Shields and deflectors are all... we have a ramming deflector. Tempting, but I'm not doing a lot of ram... especially in this ship, because I can actually fly around things. I got the maneuverability to do so. Afford a large cargo extender now. Or a jump drive. Precision aiming modes. That's cool. Projectile speed of turrets doesn't matter because we're not using projectile based. Heat management. Reduces heat buildup. I don't really want any of these. 7 million 8 million credits. Wow. And that's the range. None of these actually, like, ooh, repair bot. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, a lot of these they're not actually useful to the current loadout that I'm using. If I was using a bunch of current projectile based weapons, it'd be great, but not with this build. Okay. Well, we'll depart the station and continue on to the actual story.
Map.
The researcher. Tempting. We'll do the researcher first. Gotta get that story.
Engines at maximum. Accelerating to sublight. Sublight boosters depleted. Warp inhibited by stellar mass.
Nothing of interest, though. Moving on. Mercenary gunship just took out whatever that was. The trader out here.
What can I do for you? Yeah, we can do business. What'd you have in mind? Pleasure doing business. Yeah,
I love being able to sell in hyperjump.
What'd you have?
Like, that's not something any game normally lets you do, but this one just let me. Here, let me fax you some cargo real quick. Here's an email. Militia destroyer. Do not hail me.
Warp inhibited by stellar
Do not
mass.
hail me. I don't want to talk to you.
Stalking.
Okay. Visit the lab.
I don't know you. What are you doing here? I'm quite busy. Get out.
This person seems nice. Hold it. Are you the researcher Orzu was telling me about?
That figures. I never had any respect for anyone's time. I'm Zell. If I answer your questions, will you leave?
Yeah, sure, I promise. It's about the Spectre device. We're hoping you'd be able to figure out what it is.
I've seen other artifacts like this before. Interesting. I'll need to take some time to analyze it. While I do so, you can perform an errand for me. and gather some materials critical to my research.
Mm-hmm. Another
Yes,
errand?
well, my research requires raw materials, and it seems a fair trade for my expertise. I need about 3 tons of omnium ore. It's rare, but I know of a few places to source it.
Okay, let's hear about that.
Here are the coordinates for a field that contains trace amounts of omnium, and another set for a trade convoy that I know has the material. It's up to you how you procure it.
All right, I'll be back.
Yes, whatever.
Okay. What do they have here for equipment? I'm curious. Oh. Okay. No. 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 Okay. Commodities. Ooh, alien artifacts are even worse off here. I'll have to pay attention to that. Robots. What is going on to that trade line? Oh, tachyon salt. Currently on a very good deal. And also, I'll note that this is one of the ways that you can really mess with the money in this game. Okay. That took up nearly all of the onboard credits that I've got on this ship. I just realized I need 3 more. Space and hold 026. I have to sell stuff. Okay. What's the cheapest thing I got? 4 of the nanofibers. Okay. Part of why I don't have room right now is because I'm holding 8 religious tracts. Okay. Let's go turn those in.
Stellar map. Accelerating to sublight. Engines at maximum.
I don't like having a chunk of my cargo bay taken up by
Satellite boosters depleted.
mission things that aren't even like part of the main mission. And I know that this is actually technically going further away from the route, but
Warp inhibited by stellar
oh, come
mass.
on. Nobody cares about that little ion turret. It's just there to annoy people. It's interesting. I'm starting to pay attention to the different colors that show up on the radar down below. And seeing that, like, some of the ships are much brighter blue than others. What just happened? I just showed up in the middle of a battlefield.
Orange. Missiles inbound. Bounty received. Threat level green. Missiles inbound.
Engaging.
Oh. Jackers. Okay, glad my turret's got that one, because I couldn't even turn fast enough to get to it. Gold! We found gold, everyone! How useful, how fancy.
Collision
What else?
warning.
Whoa, there's a whole battle still going on. Who's fighting who?
Collision warning.
That's a small scow. That was everyone.
Accelerating to sublight.
Hello? This game has an interesting way of hiding its loading screens. It's the transit distances between places. What?
Threat level orange.
What?
The night.
Satellite boosters depleted.
You gotta be kidding me!
Missiles inbound. Threat level red.
That is way more than I expected to be fighting.
Collision warning. Engines
Now I
impaired.
see. Yeah, engines impaired.
Propellers depleted. Collision warning.
That was insane! I've never done a blockade run before. And everything. Very nice. Oh wow, those are worth even more here sometimes. Oh, it's a militia embargo. That's why. Okay. I mean, that's like almost an entire ship's worth of credits that I just picked up. That's amazing. The next step up would be this one, the Vanguard. This is considered a heavy type. Beautiful warship, though. 6 turrets. Broadside ports on that are pretty terrifying. Yeah, I'm kind of curious about some of these heavier ships. The Manticore looks like a mess. I don't think I really ever want to pilot that. And they don't have... Let's see. Proton. Same missiles. Same turrets. No specialties on shields or deflectors. Okay, yeah. Any interesting missions? Nothing that was quite like that. So when I get out of here, am I going to get attacked? Yep.
Stellar map.
Interesting. Mining or traders? Let's go to the traders.
Engines at maximum. Engines are no longer impaired. Collision warning. Engines impaired. Satellite boosters depleted. Missiles inbound.
They will taste the blood.
I don't even care about trying to do this fight, because I don't want to piss off all these various factions. Although, at the same time, an opportunity to fight the militia, where they've taken me on, and I haven't had to actually do anything illegal.
Collision warning.
Get my attention.
Engines are no longer impaired.
They will taste the blood.
Missiles inbound.
That is a full-on destroyer. I don't think I can take that on, even in this ship.
Warning.
If I can, it's going to be hit-and-run tactics, and this is going to be a very silly little fight. But, between the Harriers and everything else out here,
Engines are
like,
no longer impaired.
Skeetha can only do so much. Alright. That one's down. Got a smaller frigate out here.
Missiles inbound.
Oh.
Embrace the coldness.
Engines impaired.
I'm not even sure what's impairing my engines. I don't even really care because I'm not taking a whole lot of damage here. But what I'm trying to see is, can I even do damage to them? Also, that's more than one destroyer now. Oh.
Missiles inbound. Engines are no longer impaired.
That's 2 destroyers. 3 destroyers. They brought a third one in.
I must retreat.
Yeah, Skeeta, this wasn't the best idea.
Orange. Accelerating to sublight.
Why did we do this? Why was this our...
Engaging.
Accelerating to sublight.
Like, okay, was I fighting? That is... All 3 of these...
I must retreat.
Did I do any damage?
Threat level red.
I must retreat.
Is that 4 ships now?
Threat level orange. Missiles inbound.
That's me throwing, like, all of
Engaging.
the ordnance I've got at it, and I'm doing 0 damage. Their shields are just too good. Military shields are too good. Gotta get a hold of some military shields. I gotta say, that was the opposite of a normal blockade run. Just hang out for a while and harass everybody before leaving. Oh, that is a lot of mines.
Take care of yourself.
Wait, what?
Hailing.
Yeah? You got something to say?
Oh, I see.
I got a few tons. Yeah. Listen, you give me a fair price or a few tons of military hardware, and we'll call it square.
You're right.
Everything looks
2,500.
good. See you around.
Apparently, Omnium's not that valuable, or I'm very rich. Also, detected valuables.
Stellar map.
Detected valuables? Where? Cargo container. What tasty snacks do we have?
Collision
Munitions and robots. You know, I'm starting to feel the same way about the robots thing as I do about the other sentient life forms as cargo.
Exiting sublight.
Wasn't there another? Yeah, okay.
Accelerating to sublight.
Yik yak meat.
Collision warning.
Yik yak. We got detected hostiles out that way. Is that part of this mission? Mercenary gunship, another detected valuable.
This one is mine. The night.
Threat level yellow.
Not for long. Whoa. What is that doing? Game is not enjoying me hitting the F keys, apparently. Nuts and bolts. Don't want that. Okay, time to deliver the Omnium. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Warp inhibited by stellar mass. Mission complete.
Oh yeah, that whole thing with supposedly you can trust your autopilot to actually stop you in time when it meets a physical object. No. You can absolutely slam into something before the autopilot can turn off, especially in a ship this fast.
Excellent. This Omnium will do nicely. Now, as for this device, it really is quite unusual, and I have made some excellent progress.
Go on.
They call this a spectre, yes? It is apt, because I believe there is an intelligence contained within.
What sort of intelligence?
We may never find out. It is only inert because of a lack of power which it is theoretically capable of absorbing. But centuries of carbon accretion have prevented this.
Centuries.
Well, I have removed the carbon. However, the device has not reactivated. It may be nothing more than junk at this point.
Thanks, I suppose.
Please do not mention it. It is an interesting item, but I have wasted enough time. Excuse me.
Okay. Let's refill our weapons. Let's see here. This place didn't actually have anything of use, so shipyard. Nope, nothing there yet. Commodities. Those robots. That alien artifact seems to just be bouncing around. It's not a good value on those. Or those. Those, however. Okay. Oh, yak meat. Sell that too. Space and hold. 20 or 26. Yeah, let's do that. Just a few of those. Anything weird in the... No, none of these that I really care about either.
But hey, mate, how about a beer?
What's the news around the system?
There was a huge mining strike a few weeks back.
You already told me about that one.
Before the prices went up, missed me millions, I did. Now that you mention it, I did.
Tamaran Zone will pay good for meteoric diamonds. Now we're talking.
Stellar map.
Now I have to find where that is. Oh, please don't tell me it's one of them. Did I misread the place of that? I think I did. Oops. Convoy inbound. Alright, well, whoops. Let's go up towards this border war. That sounds interesting.
Accelerating to sublight. Engines at maximum.
Oh, no, don't read doc.
Engines at maximum.
Thank you.
Language
Whoa.
analysis complete. Initiating contact. Selecting likely greeting. Hello.
Who or what are you, and how are you using my ship's computer?
I am nameless, or I have forgotten my name. My reliquary has become active aboard this vessel, and I have integrated with its simple systems.
Integrated? You mean you're controlling my ship?
I have not interfaced with life support, navigation, or weapon systems aboard this craft. My intention is not to harm.
I suppose that's a relief. You mentioned a reliquary?
It is the device in which I reside. I have drawn power from nearby sources in order to activate it, but I am confused. My reliquary is incomplete. My function is impaired. I desire information.
All that said, I'm not sure I want you integrated into my ship.
You need only remove my reliquary from your vessel in order to sever the connection. That power lies entirely with you.
What is it you want?
As I have said, my reliquary is incomplete. I am confused. My memory is fragmented. I have reached out to you for help.
What could I possibly do to help you?
While this vessel's systems are limited, I could utilize them to detect the fragments of my reliquary. In return, I may be able to offer assistance to you.
What sort of assistance?
It is within my power to improve the function of this vessel. I propose an exchange. Help me recover my memories, and I will in turn advance the systems of your ship beyond their operating parameters. Do you agree?
You have a deal.
That is acceptable. I have detected a fragment within this solar system. I am providing you with the approximate coordinates. Although the signal is indistinct, it may be inside a larger mass.
I'll investigate when I have a moment. How do I contact you?
You may summon me at any time through the command interface of this vessel.
It's a hell of a thing.
Goodbye.
Oh, goodbye. So we have a new friend. A co-pilot AI that's just hanging out on the ship with us now. And we need to help them out.
Stellar map.
Interestingly enough, happens to be pretty close to where we're already going.
Warp inhibited by stellar mass. Accelerating to sublight.
Slam into a military carrier at warp 2. I figure I'll carve through a couple more fights here and we'll call it a night. But wanted to show you folks the next part of the story. I love this concept of like trying to help out an ancient AI from before you were born, before most of the people that are related to you. Oh, what's that? That's distress beacon, and I just fired missiles off into the void. But yeah, like multi-century old, multi-millennia old AIs make sense in a large spacefaring universe where you've got different races, different species, different sciences and technologies, and different ways that they go about using said tech. I like the concept of the Kardashev scale in how you can measure the relative capability of a civilization based on how well they're able to utilize energy. And that doesn't necessarily have to mean like an outward thing, because in some cases it could be how well do they utilize. It's a lot of destroyers. Hold on a sec. I'm like trying to do a science talk, and suddenly there's a war going on.
Missiles inbound.
Oh, oh. Crunch.
Deflectors depleted.
You picked the wrong fight.
Did I?
Missiles inbound.
Son of a...
Time to fry.
I.
That ship will make a fine prize.
Collision warning. Deflectors depleted.
Let's see. Oh! Take a bunch of missiles to the face. We're just gonna sit back here and tear a hole in the side of your
Missiles
engines.
Embrace the code.
Alright, let's go. Bye!
Starboard shields down. Starboard hull breached.
Oh, we took some damage to that side of the ship.
Collision warning. Deflectors depleted.
Oh,
Shields down.
that was some pretty intense damage.
Sublight boosters depleted.
Engaging.
Oh, Skiza, keep it up.
Inbound.
Hello, Torpedo Boat. You have been a problem. Goodbye, Torpedo Boat. You are no longer a problem. Mark II Mining Laser. I'm finding some really good loot from these fights. I gotta stop shooting on that side of my ship.
Sublight boosters depleted. Collision warning. Port shields down.
They will taste the black.
Exiting sublight. Missiles inbound. Depleted.
So many missiles.
Missiles inbound. Deflectors depleted. Missiles inbound.
That's it.
Collision warning. Mission complete.
41,000 credits for that.
This
Good
one is
fight.
mine.
That did say it was a border war.
I must retreat.
Skiza, you have more than paid for everything and effort today.
This isn't the end of me.
Nearly took out multiple
Collision
militia
warning.
destroyers. Ooh, nanofibers. Those are worth some good money. Do a quick scan. Mineable resources. Ooh, more cargo.
Accelerating to sublight.
Over here.
Exiting sublight.
And who is this over here? I'm curious.
Warp inhibited
If
by
you
stellar
ain't
mass.
offering to surrender, I hope you got yourself a fast ship.
I mean, I do.
Straight-laced cutter like you? Right. Blow off before I take a further interest.
So, there's something I've been kind of curious about in this, because, like, I like a lot of space games that have the multiple factions thing, and it seems like because there is like an honor system with the different factions, I seem to theoretically be able to join the Red Devils or the Cutthroats, and I'm kind of curious about that. Like, I might try a run where I just say screw the militia, we're gonna go the bandit route. Oh.
Be seeing you.
Alright, bud.
Stellar map. Exiting sublight.
Did take a bit of damage to the one side of the ship.
Inhibited by stellar mass.
Gonna have to be careful in this next fight. But this next fight isn't going to be nearly as much of a battle as that last one. That was probably the biggest fight besides the one of the 4 destroyers
Warp
that I've run
inhibited by
across.
stellar mass.
Detected valuables.
Accelerating to sublight.
Another ordnance crate. I could use that.
Exiting sublight.
Having some trouble with my warp engines. Yee!
Initiating contact.
Oh. Incoming message.
This location appears to be accurate. I cannot quite identify the exact source, however. It is likely that it is within some of the wreckage.
How do we find out which one?
I will continue to refine the search and then... Wait. Ships are entering the region. Their weapon systems are active. I believe their intention is hostile.
Engaging.
Enemy craft inbound. Bounty detected.
There you are, right where he said you'd be. Money in the bank. Face the night.
Collision
The actual theme music to the game starts playing. That always feels good.
Collision warning.
Run back over here. Blackhand Sims. Are you the bastard that sold me out?
Missiles inbound. Missiles inbound.
This isn't over.
Well, it is.
Collision warning.
For you, at least.
Bounty received.
Mark II Aegis shields. $600. Less initial protection, but recharge very quickly. How does that compare? Whoop. How does that compare to what I'm currently equipped with? Oh. Huh. What an interesting thing to pick up. Also, taking out that one commander just kind of ruined all of the drive that the rest of them had. That's really funny.
Collision warning. Missiles inbound.
Face the night.
Missiles inbound. I have pinpointed the location of the fragment and identified it for you. Scavenging the wreckage should recover it. Exiting sublight.
It's not that one.
Collision warning.
It's that one. So I'm kind of curious, like, lore-wise. Let's take a look at the ship that she came from. This looks like a Tenhausen. Or maybe? That's much bigger than a Tenhausen. Is that one of the pirate capital ships? What was she
Located it.
doing on a pirate ship?
Initiating contact. I have integrated the fragment into my reliquary and recovered some small part of my memory. I confess, it is a relief.
How much of your memories have you recovered?
They are not whole, and I cannot reconcile them all. I can recall the name I was given. I am, called Trell, at least. That is the closest approximation in your language.
Sounds better than Spectre.
You have helped me, and so now I will return the favor. I have analyzed this vessel for likely improvements, and there are two that I can readily offer. Booster efficiency could be easily increased. However, I can also perform a similar modification for deflectors.
Well, the ship is already terrifyingly fast. I don't think I need to be any faster.
As you wish, the modification is now complete.
Thank you for the assistance.
For now, I must analyze my recovered memories. I do not believe any more fragments of my reliquary exist within this solar system. However, I must study further before being certain.
Okay. Let's park ourselves. Rhyme Wave. Tachyon Salt is at high value right now. What am I currently holding in my cargo? Meteoric diamonds and alien artifacts. And Narco Cola. Yeah, you know what? Let's see what kind of money we can make out there.
Accelerating to sublight.
We'll go park the ship and call that good for the night. Dear friend, I heard you might be in some sort of trouble, and I'm pleased to see I was misinformed. We should speak further. Incoming hail. While I'm in hyperdrive. We'll answer him when we land. So good to see you well. I have good news. I have succeeded in arranging a meeting with Xenia. I'm sure she'll be able to provide the help you require. News travels fast. What are the details? You wound me. Haven't I been as good as my word? No matter. The coordinates are yours, and I've acted in good faith. It's up to you what you do with them. I think it accidentally went to the lower selection. Watch your back, friend. It seems someone out there may not be as interested in your well-being as I am. Whoa!
Voice analysis indicates that this individual is prone to deceit. Excuse me. That was obvious, wasn't it?
Trell, you're trying. Appreciate the help.
This is getting too hot for me.
To think that I would ever have a ship that could take out a hammerhead in 2 volleys. Like, starting out, that was the ship that we were using. And it would be a pitched battle between one hammerhead and another, and now I'm just kind of carving right through them.
Missiles inbound.
This one is mine.
Ordnance low. Ordnance depleted.
Alright. I gotta say, I do not like this song. It is not well written. Like, it's good. It's okay musically, but lyrically, they could have done a lot more with it. And I hate that the lyrics to that get stuck in my head after playing this for long enough.
Repairs complete.
Okay, so yeah, the Icarus is the ship that I'm using in my current other playthrough. I haven't actually made it up to the Scarab yet, or the Barracuda. But the Icarus is a 4-turret, 2 on top, 2 on the sides type ship. That the way that it's built is a pursuit vessel. And the game doesn't tell you that. But because all 4 guns can actually target the same thing from the front of you, you can remain right behind their engine wake and just keep hammering them. As long as you don't get taken out by missiles, you can actually use that as a normal hit-and-run methodology with this ship. And the different ships having different tactics to, like, how to fly them, how to actually use them, has been really interesting. I'm greatly enjoying the Barracuda just because it actually uses broadside tactics, like scoop up, fire a bunch, and then take off as fast as you can. It's been so fun. I'm looking forward to seeing what else the game has to offer as far as those kinds of things. Let's see. Double check to see if there's anything else, but I think I've been here before. Those Aegis shields are interesting. And that actually makes me wonder if what the military is using are the field impact shields. They take forever to recharge, but their initial damage capacity is so much higher. Okay. Don't really want any new deflectors, and these are all going to be stock. Could install the jump drive now, which is kind of funny. Okay, start off. Sell the trash. And anything that's on green. Hell yeah. Oh, those are good value. There's that 32,000 for the alien artifacts that I've been waiting for. Okay. Is there anything here that's worth holding on to? No. Also, the next ship is 3,300,000 credits. That is a lot. Okay. I think I'm going to call that. That's... Whew. Good amount of story. We'll go ahead and save this. And switch over. As soon as this lets me. Okay. Find where our music went. What chaos was I listening to here? Hey. Thank you everybody for showing up. Thank you everybody for watching. That was an absolute blast and not a bad start to getting into the schedule of things again and hanging out with you folks. I look forward to doing this again soon. Oh, Dan, you gotta be kidding me. Did you really just get here? Alright, well, Dan. Oh, that's rough. That's actually really funny. Milky Taro Flavor is asking if you're going to be able to moderate tonight. I'm like, oh yeah, it's the right day according to the last time I talked to Dan about that. He should be available. I just figured I'd start up and hang out with you folks and play some games. You'd eventually show up. I didn't think it'd be at the very end of stream. Oh wow, things just have to work out that way, don't they? All right. Well, let's take a look at who's streaming right now. See who I want to give some support to. I had to shop for food for the week. What'd you get, Dan? We ended up doing our groceries today as well. Got some really good snacks. I'm looking forward to actually making dinner later. Starting with a whole new kitchen is always something wild because I'm like missing half my spices until I get everything unpacked. Alright. You know what? Let's go ahead and send you over to Aki, since I think a lot of you folks are going to end up watching her stuff right after this anyways. And if you don't, well, now you get to meet the Strawberry Moo. I like her a lot. She's pretty cool. What's the raid message? Let's do, let's just do the green Glowdog raid. There we go. Oh, that shows up awfully, but I don't care. That's what we're gonna go with. All right. Let's go. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. I will try and start a little bit earlier tomorrow evening, and we're just going to try and make this my time slot. I think this works well for us, so we'll see you around. Love you all. See you tomorrow.